Whoops. Oh my god, what an absolute mess. Oops. How you doing, guys? Nice to see you again. Okay, sorry it's been a while, but I could not find the 25mm Kingspan thermal insulation boards anywhere. B&Q, Homebase, Wix, Screwfix. They had the Celotex ones, which I'm sure are fine, but I just wanted to keep everything the same. So I've managed to find, I've got 2 sheets of Kingspan that turned up day before yesterday. I've already done 1 panel from the leftovers from the door, and I did the second roof panel yesterday, so I'm going to show you all this, and it's going alright actually. And what I wanted to show you was this picture that I took the other day when it was really cold. It's like -2 or something in the morning, and I looked out of my window and I could see where I've put the insulation panel, that was all frosted over, and the rest of the roof, which wasn't insulated, is all completely just like, it's just wet, it's not frosted over. So that's a good sign. That shows that the heat is escaping from the uninsulated panels, but it wasn't escaping from the insulated panel. So that is proof, if it's ever needed, that these things work. I mean, of course they work, but you know what I mean. It's good to see it in action, so to speak. So yes, let me show you what I've done so far. Let's have a look. All right, I'll tell you what, it's a messy job, but anyway, here we go. So this is the first panel that I did. Again, this is from the offcuts from the door insulation, which is why this one is made up of 1, 2, 3. Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is made up of 5 individual pieces left over from that, whereas this one is just made up of 2. This tape here is just where it's split along the foil, so I just put a bit of foil tape, but that's 1 panel and that's 1 panel. So 1 sheet, well actually 2 sheets make up 1 panel, and then whatever's left over from the 2 panels, you can do another section. Right, there we go. So I had some issues with, which I didn't notice before, the fact that, okay, let's check on one that's not done. This board here, where the insulation has to go into the middle to allow airflow, is a lot wider than that panel up there. So I believe this is 100mm, and I think that is about 30 or 40mm. So it leaves me very little room for manoeuvre up there. So what I've had to do is push the insulation panel right to the top, so it's pretty much against the roof, yet it allows the airflow through these channels. You've got to excuse this attire, it's freezing in here. Yeah, so I don't know about you guys, but when I research something, I research it to death, and I just get a little bit, I wouldn't say obsessed by it, but I just want to know what is the best way to do it. So I sent out a message that there's a guy on YouTube called Steve the Roofer. He's a professional roofer, he does it for a living, that is his job. And from what I can tell, although I'm not an expert, he seems to be very competent and he knows what he's talking about, and he's had a lot of very good reviews on Google, etc. So I sent him an email and basically told him my situation and said to him, what would you do? What is the best way to work around this sort of roof with these beams? And he sent me, very kindly, sent me this video.
Okay, thanks for sending the photographs over. So, you know, realistically, if you look at my latest video, which is to do with hybrid roofs, you need to vent the gap above and put the insulation down below, so that you've got a vented roof underneath the a vented space underneath the roof, so that you form a cold roof, or you turn it into a warm roof. Now, if you don't do either of those, I can't comment how it's going to react. Now, all I do know is that I get involved with loads of these, and even if you don't do a warm roof and if you don't do a cold roof, but you've got low humidity everywhere, it can still work. So, there's no golden rule, with the exception that I am taught to tell you that you should do a proper warm roof or you should do a proper cold roof. I'm sitting underneath one at the moment, which is neither. Did it 15 years ago, but it's got problems. So it didn't last. So, the choice is yours, and you've got to determine which way you want to do it and what's best for you. Looking at the way you've got all your timbers and things like that, it's going to be really difficult to vent that properly. I mean, you're going to need to get, ventilation across here to flow right away across the whole area. But that's really what you should do, and lower the ceiling and put the insulation down lower, and then put a vapor barrier over. That's what you should be doing.
Very nice of him to do that. So I left him a good review on Google for doing that. That's you have to respect that. That's something that he's been doing for years, and he's essentially given out free advice. I did say to him, look, can I give you I'll send you some dosh, or I can give you some booze, but he didn't ask for anything. So that is very, very kind of him. So Steve, again, thank you very much. All right, so that's where we are. Let me just flip you around again. So yeah, so I've basically gone in all the gaps, made it look as neat as I possibly can. Now remember, this isn't going to stay like this. It could do, because this is actually a vapor barrier. This foil, it won't let vapor through, nor will this tape. So you could essentially leave it like this, but the correct way to do it is to put this stuff here, which is a vapor membrane. There you go, vapor barrier polythene, and that goes underneath underneath this. But I've heard people say, well, you don't have to really do it. It's not it's not a living area. People won't be in here all the time. It's not a house, so to speak. So you could actually leave it as it is. I don't know. I'm gonna look into that a bit further. But anyway, I've expanded foamed the gaps that was in here. There's a gap. There was a couple of mil, so I just put expanding foam in there. Trimmed it all back so it looks nice and neat. I've still got to do this bit up here. Where is it? Up there. Get rid of that. That was all done last night. I've got to put some tape along this ridge here where I put the foam in, and I've trimmed it all back, so that's airtight now. And then I just basically, as soon as I do a panel and I think I've done it, I give it a day and come back with it with fresh eyes, and I just go in all the corners, make sure they're all sealed, make sure none of the tapes come loose, and just try and make it look neat. It might be a bit overkill, but I'd rather do it knowing that I gave it my best, even if it's not right. If I gave it my best shot, then I'm happy, So, and there it is, all along the edge there. So yeah, it looks pretty good. And like that picture said, with the frost on the roof there, it does work. It really does work, and it's only 25mm thick. So there you go. All right, so you might find yourself in a similar situation to me, in that you've got a old garage with an old roof that was taken off. You've got a new roof put on. This is a situation that I'm at, and this is the only other way around it is to get the guys in with the spray foam, and they spray foam the whole thing, but that is very messy, and also it's very, very expensive. So this is it's an option, and I can do it as well, to a degree. All right, so this is what I was trying to say. So at this end of the garage, at the highest end, if you like, I have a small beam. This is the roof panel itself, and in the middle there is a tall beam, or wide beam I should say, and at the lowest part of the roof there is another small beam. Right, now actually that's not right, let's do it to scale so it's the same as that one. So the reason I can't put the panel at the bottom here is because I need to put tape underneath to do the seal, and if this panel is near the bottom, the tape doesn't stick to the brick, it just comes off. It doesn't adhere, because even though these are sealed, I've PVA'd them, they're still a bit sort of dusty, and the tape is it sticks to the wood perfect, and also it sticks to the panels perfect obviously, but it will not stick to the brick. So I've got to put the panels right up to the top, so they're pretty much touching the roof here, and then they come down and then they meet the middle one here. So there is a gap here because the roof is box panel like that, so there is airflow coming through these gaps, so there is air coming through here, though obviously not as much as if the panel was in the middle. The same on this end. I'll put the one panel here, and then it sort of goes up to meet the smaller one at the top there, and again this end is also ventilated at the side of the roof there. So that's how it looks. It sort of goes in at the middle. That's the best I can do, and so far I've checked under this first panel that I put up a few weeks ago, and it's been okay. There's no moisture, no excessive moisture under there, more so than anywhere else, and yeah, I think it's working. So what I'll do is I'll do it as the plan suggests, and then maybe 6 months from now, 8 months, a year, I might take a little panel off and just check underneath, make sure the timbers are okay. That's the best I can do, basically. Now, I was a bit of a plonker yesterday. When I did this expanding foam, some of it leaked out the end of the gun and it landed on the floor here. See these sort of patches? And I ended up walking it all over the bloody garage floor. It's a right mess. But one little tip is, if you're using expanding foam, this is what I found out yesterday, is if you drop it on the floor, just leave it. Don't try and mop it up, or don't try and clean out tissues, because it is the worst stuff in the world to try and pick up when it's wet. So just let it dry, and then you can just literally just pick it off the floor and it comes off nice and clean. There you go, Billy Four Rocks tip of the week. Alright, so I've got some quite good news in regards to getting the mileage changed on the clock, so it's more in line with what the bike's actually done. So like I said, there was a few people that I managed to find in the Kent area, which is where I live, who can change the mileage on your digital clocks to match the actual mileage of your ECU, or the mileage of the actual bike. I got in touch with one guy who lives less than 2 miles from here, and I got in touch with him and he said, yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Send me a picture of the clock. So I sent him the pictures, the actual eBay pictures, which had a nice clear picture of the sockets at the back and everything, because I didn't really fancy taking the clock off the bike, undoing that wire security thing that I did and all that sort of stuff. And he said, yeah, that's no problem, will be 70 quid. £70. Now, that to me is a bargain, especially in comparison to the £800 that Triumph were asking to be able to put the original mileage on a new set of clocks. £800, £70. It's a bit of a no-brainer. I said, yeah, great. I should be able to pop up on Thursday, which is today. And I said, please let me know if that's okay and give me your address. And he hasn't got back to me. I was going to go there today and get that all done, but he hasn't got back to me, so I don't know what to do. So I will contact him again later today, just to double check he got the message. I know he's seen it because I sent it to him on WhatsApp, but I don't know. What can you do in that situation? So if he doesn't get back to me, I'll just go elsewhere, I guess. That's the way it goes. Okay, so I've got my MOT due soon. and I just wanted to check out. Actually, I think it's due in, when are we now? It's due in April. So I've got to change the rear brake discs, which I've got some EBCs. Let me show you. I've always gone with EBCs. They just seem to be, they seem to do the trick all the time, and you get loads of mileage out of them. I've never actually recorded it, but now I'm using the bike more, I might actually make a mental note of how many miles I can get out of a set of pads riding in and out of London every day. So those have got to go on. I won't show you that because it's, you know, I'm sure you know how to change a set of pads. So that's got to be done. And also that screw that was in the back tyre, even though the pressure hasn't gone down, I still need to plug it for the MOT purposes, because I'm pretty sure if they see a screw in the tyre, that's going to fail the MOT. So that's got to happen. So, and also I've got to click, the bike is so dirty, I've got to show you this. It's an absolute mockery. Look at that. But you know what, it has been raining pretty much constantly for the last couple of weeks. It's filthy. It is absolutely filthy. So before I get it MOT'd, I'm going to give it a good jet wash, polish it all up. It's just this which catches so much muck. I've got some news. I've got some news in regards to an upcoming video. Quadlock are going to send me a wireless charging mount. The same guys that make the mount for the iPhone. Let me show you that. This thing here. If you have a phone which is able to charge wirelessly, they do a mount where you can just attach your phone to it and it charges your phone as you go along. No wires coming out of the phone. Amazing. What a time to be a biker. All this stuff is just crazy. So yeah, they're very kindly going to send me one of those wireless mounts to attach to the bike and get some pics up on Instagram for you guys, and a video as well. Alright, that's it guys, thank you very much for watching. Sorry it's a bit kind of haphazard and there's shit everywhere, but it's progress and things are moving, so I'm happy with that. Alright guys, thanks very much and I'll see you soon. Take it easy. Adios. Oh my god, I forgot to show you something. Look, I've insulated the door as well. How nice does that look, eh? So this is just that foil bubble wrap roll that you get from Amazon. It's not particularly expensive, and I just went over the edges with the foil tape so it looks nice and neat. And yeah, so it's not as well as an insulator as this stuff, but it's more to reflect the heat back in if I've got the old radiator on, so the heat doesn't escape through the door. There you go. How about that? Alright, okay guys, just before I go, I just wanted to if you're thinking about renewing your insurance, if your policy is due for renewal and you see an offer or what looks like a good offer by MCE, be wary. I've been with them for the last year and my policy with them is due to end in April, and it's quite a good, I got quite a good price. I think I was paying about £22 a month fully comp, but then I noticed in the last, what would have been now I think 4 months, they've charged me my £20, which is standard, but on top of that they was charging another £30, and I got a phone call from them. It's like an Indian call centre, and they left a message and they said because of late payments we have to charge you £30 late payment fee. So I phoned them up and I got through to them after waiting ages to get through to the customer service, and they said, well, the reason we the reason we've charged you is because we can't take your money out. And then I realised, I thought, oh, of course, I've got a new bank card which has got a new number on it, so they can't. It's the old one is, you know, it's void. So I said, God, I'm so sorry. I should have told you my new card details. And she said, okay, no worries. They updated it and the payment went through okay. And they said, but because of the late payment, that fee still applies. I said, okay, that's fine. That's my fault. I should have told you. Okay, I thought that's it. Job done. Then the next month, they did it again. Another semi-threatening tone voicemail message saying, Mr. Waite, we have to charge you another late fee because, you know, the money hasn't come out of your account. So I phoned them up and I said, listen, I've already changed my account details with you. That's already done. It should be on your system. No, we haven't. And this went on. They took out an extra, so let's see now, over 4 months, another £30 on top, 3, 6, 9, 12, 120 quid on top of what I already paid them. MCE, in my opinion, have the worst customer service, not just insurance companies, of any company I've ever had to deal with in my life. So it's just a warning for you. And it's not just me this has happened to. I checked it out in the forums and it's all on there in black and white. People have experienced similar problems with them. You give them your card details and then they charge you excess anyway, as if the payment hasn't gone out. Terrible. I mean, it's borderline illegal. It must be. So be aware, if your insurance is due for new renewal and you see a good offer by MCE, be very, very wary. Okay, you have been warned. I am definitely not going back with those guys. My contract is ending on April, and I said to them, please do not renew it. Do not renew it. It's gone. It's finished. Cancel it. And they've put that all through the system. Whatever good that will do. So yes. So just be aware, guys. And I think I'm going to go with RAC for my next insurance, and I've also cancelled my AA as well after they left me stranded. You know, it's a terrible service. But there you go. I just thought I'd let you guys know, if you're thinking about insurance and you want to go MCE, be wary. Alright, so you have to excuse the noise behind me. I'm at work at the moment and I've just checked out the MCM website. I have a little look at it now and again, and I've just noticed a story that they put on yesterday. Let me show it to you. So there you go, look, published yesterday. New trend sees thieves steal dash units from parked bikes. Exactly what happened to me. A worrying new crime has emerged whereby thieves target the TFT instrument panels on high-end motorbikes or scooters. Well, you know, I mean, the best thing to do is, if possible, put your bike in a secure area, away from the main road, away from the pavement, away from, you know, public, if you like. And I think one of the best things you could do is get a alarmed disc lock, and also get a cover, put the cover on it, and if you can get one of the covers with the metal eyelets that run along the bottom, run a cable lock through there. Nothing's going to stop these people from taking your stuff, but you can make it as awkward for them as possible, and you can buy yourself some time. For example, if they're trying to yank off the cover from your bike because it's locked underneath, they're going to be pulling at that. That's going to set off the disc lock alarm. So they might say it's too much of a risk, and they might do a runner. So if anything, you are buying yourself some time. So that would be my advice. Yeah, you heard it here first from old Billy Boy. Well, you heard it back in November, but MCN had just caught on. What can I tell you?